I'm a mom. It's by no means the only hat I wear in my life, but it's pretty important to me. I have two boys. Quinn is 21. He goes to school in Chicago. Elliot is 18. He is a senior in high school. This Christmas, we gathered in my living room like we always do to open gifts, and Elliot passed them out. He slides the last one to me, and when I pick it up, it feels like there's nothing in it. I said, "Who's this from?" He said, "Me." And that's when I noticed he's recording me. The last time one of my boys recorded me opening a present was a few years before when I got one from Quinn. Way back when Quinn turned 13, he and I went to Colorado on a trip, just the two of us. We stayed in Golden, but we took the train every day into Denver because the first day took him to a place called Little Man's Ice Cream. He said it was the best ice cream he ever had, and we had to go back every day. He saved that train ticket, framed it, and gave it to me several years later. Right? Of course I cried when I opened it, so logically I look at Elliot and say, "Am I about to cry?" He goes, "No." And Quinn said, "I don't know, she might." So I opened this gift, and in it is a piece of paper. It's very dark. So I squint down at it, trying to make any sense of what this gift is that Elliot has given me. And the only words that stick out to me are skydiving. Now, to put it in perspective why Elliot would do such a thing, we go back to 2021. He told me he wanted to go skydiving when he turned 18, and I am not sure what was going on with 2021 Gloria because I said, "I'll go with you." But the following year, I had a few bouts of vertigo. They weren't my first, but they were becoming more consistent. So a couple months before he turned 18, I said, "Hey, can we just put a pin in the whole skydiving thing till I figure out what's going on with my head?" A conversation he clearly forgot or chose to ignore because I was holding a gift certificate for me and Quinn and Elliot to go skydiving. I said, "Okay, Elliot, do we have a date?" And he said, "Yes, tomorrow." And I said, "What the fuck?" And I know that's what I said because I went back and looked at the footage. Let me tell you, 24 hours is not enough time to worry about all the things that you need to worry about before jumping out of a plane. But that evening, I wandered into Elliot's room, and I was like, "Hey, Elliot, what do you think the odds are that we die doing this thing tomorrow?" And he just rattled the statistic off. And I said, "How do you just know that off the top of your head?" He said, "Well, I had to talk Quinn into doing it, so we looked it up." He also reminds me that I have to fill out the waiver, and I open my iPad to this document that is a novella of all the ways that I could die or be injured jumping out of a plane. 2 pages in, I'm like, you know what? I have an anxiety disorder and a vivid imagination. I don't think they could conjure anything that I haven't already thought of. So I just was initial, sign, and date what I assumed was going to be the last document I ever signed. And then I went to bed. And the answer to your question is no, I did not sleep well. The next morning, I skipped breakfast. Seemed like a solid choice, given what we were going to be doing. I opened my laptop to distract myself with work, and Quinn comes in. I said, "Are you excited?" Look, my kids know I have anxiety, and I'm sure they're assuming I'm white-knuckling it through that day. But I don't like for my fears to crap on other people's joy. So I said to Quinn, "Well, are you excited?" And he said, "I was until I read the waiver." I said, why did you do that? Not solid parenting to advise my kids sign a legal document without reading it, but come on, I think we all know the things that can happen, right? After we get checked in at the skydiving place, they take us into this room to watch an instructional video, which is narrated by the guy who invented tandem skydiving, and Quinn pointed out, well, he lived, so it must not be too dangerous. And in this video, of course, they're talking about all the safety measures and showing people just having a blast, and they're spinning, a lot of spinning. So much that I feel nauseous before I even leave the room and have to go get my anti-nausea medicine and take it on the spot. Then they take us into another room to change or to get into outfits that could best be described as picking up trash on the side of the road themed, kind of jumpsuits. And then we wait. This guy comes in, he calls my name, I raise my hand. He stands in front of me and says, "Skydiving is dangerous and deadly. I need you to listen to all of my instructions." Duh. Are there dum-dums that don't listen to you? Look, sir, you're an expert. I defer all of this to you. However, I have 3 requests. Am I taking this? Sorry, I have 3 requests. 1, the video said that spinning is optional. I tend to get motion sick, so if we could leave out any optional stuff, that'd be great. He said, cool, let me know if you start to feel sick. I said, I will. 2, I don't want to pull the cord. They put this altimeter on your hand, and you're supposed to pay attention when it gets to, I think, 6,000 feet, and then pull the cord. I didn't want to have to focus on that. Also, I don't work out like I should, so I wasn't optimistic that I could deploy a parachute meant to save 2 people's lives. He's like, cool, I'll pull it. I said, 3, I don't want to steer. Let me be clear, I don't want jobs. He said, cool. As he's tightening my harness, he says, at about 10,000 feet, you and I will get hooked up with each other. It's going to be awkward, but just go with it. Okay. Now, earlier that day, I asked the boys if I could please jump after them. Not because I wanted to see the joy on their face, but because I wanted to make sure their chutes open so I could maybe enjoy some of my trip down. But Elliot says, oh, no, I paid for this. I'm watching y'all jump. We were the first 3 people on the plane of about 20, which means we would be the last 3 to jump. And this plane, at bare minimum, it looks as if it's held together with duct tape and hope. And when we climb, it's loud. So loud I can't really talk to the boys, but we exchange looks. I assume they're thinking what I'm thinking, which is, what are we doing jumping out of a not perfectly good airplane, but, you know, it's flying, and is it too late? Then my guy taps me on the shoulder, and he says, it's time, sit on my lap, and I do. He hooks us up, and then he parts his legs, and I kind of slide between him, and I'm hanging there like an adult in a baby Bjorn. He said, I told you it was going to be awkward. Then the door opens, and people just fast jumping out. And I knew it was going to go like this because they don't let the people that pay to tandem skydive decide at what point to jump, because honestly, I would still be there if they did. He tells me, Gloria, put your feet at the edge of the door, and I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1, and he jumps, and I scream. Just for a few seconds until I get acclimated to the feeling of falling. 60 seconds later, he deploys the chute. It goes off perfectly. I look around to make sure there's no one plummeting past me, and all chutes appear to be open, so I relax a little, knowing the boys are probably okay. Then my guy starts talking about how we're going to land. He's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide in on our butts. I'm going to need you to hold your legs in an L shape in front of you and make sure your feet stay high up so you don't roll your ankle, something I didn't even know I needed to be worried about. Also, hold my legs where? Like, I don't work out like I'm supposed to, and I had no idea I needed abs to land. But I rally, and we just slide in smoothly. And when I look up, Quinn's standing in front of me. How he beat me down, I still don't know, because he definitely jumped after me. But there he was, safe and smiling. I immediately say, where's Elliot? And he points across the field, and there's Elliot, safe and smiling. After we get unhooked from our guys, we start walking to the hangar, just all full of adrenaline and like, oh my God, that was amazing. Would you do it again? I would do it again. Would you do it again? This feeling is burned into my brain. I'll never be able to forget it. It's a gift I'm very grateful for. When I tell people that Elliot gave me skydiving for Christmas, they inevitably say, were you scared? Were you nervous? Of course. Did you consider saying no? No, of course not. If my kids are going to do something dangerous and deadly like that, I'm going to do it with them. But truthfully, that's only a little bit of the reason that I said yes. In a little over a year, Quinn's going to graduate college, and he's going to stay in Chicago to work. And Elliot got accepted to an aeronautical university in Arizona. Then he's going to go on to the Air Force. So when people ask me why I did it, I want to tell them it's because I don't know how many more times they're going to ask me to jump.